This is the Daily Roundup on the EAC Cambodia channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Andrew Barnes-Roberts. Making headlines tonight. The Prime Minister commits Cambodia to a carbon-neutral future, saying a global effort is needed to reduce carbon emissions and limit climate change. His comments come as a historic weather event is declared in New York, itself a sign of a changing climate. And a moment to make your heart melt. A proposal at the Paralympics. Prime Minister Hun Sen has reiterated his commitment towards resolving the kingdom's energy and climate change issues. He was speaking on Friday morning during the 2021 Taiwan Low Carbon Energy Development Forum under the theme Energy, Climate, Environment. The Prime Minister has called for political commitment from countries around the world to promote green growth, reduce carbon emissions, and ensure environmental priorities. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the story.
Prime Minister Hun Sen says energy, climate, and environmental issues, especially climate change, remain major challenges for humanity as a whole. He says although Cambodia is a country with a low level of development, the royal government is highly committed to setting these issues as an important policy agenda and not only for the short term.
In an environment where the whole world has been fighting against COVID-19, this forum is a reminder that we should not forget about energy, climate, and environmental issues that require continued attention, positioned with a responsibility through constant thinking in finding common global solutions. In an environment where many countries have been considering socio-economic rehabilitation plans, this forum will provide a good opportunity to accelerate the development of low-carbon sources to address energy, climate, and environmental issues, achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and the goals of the Paris Agreement on Climate Change.
Prime Minister Hun Sen concluded his address saying Cambodia considers carbon credit to be an important source of sustainable financing for reducing greenhouse gas activities and is open to engaging in partnerships with interested countries, as well as the private sector.
Electricity to Cambodia will be playing a key role as the royal government aims to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 64% by 2030. That is equivalent to 6 million tons less of carbon dioxide. The Prime Minister says the government is serious in addressing energy and climate change issues in the kingdom for the betterment of its people and the environment. Raya Soko, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
3 young friends have died in Phnom Penh after drinking contaminated rice wine. The girls died on Thursday after getting together to drink at a rented room close to Aeon Mall in Phnom Penh's Tonle Sap commune. EAC News reporter Johnny McCune has the details.
It was in this building where the 3 friends started drinking on Tuesday. When they started feeling unwell the following day, 18-year-old Pai left 17-year-old Gar and 18-year-old Tavi to go and fetch some medicine from her hometown across the river. Before she died, she managed to ask someone to check on her 2 friends. Their bodies were found on Thursday morning. Tonle Basak Commune Police Chief Sal Sandos is reported as saying his officers were alerted to the incident around 11 a.m. He says a bottle of traditional rice wine was found in the room. Poisoning is believed to be the cause of death. According to the Ministry of Commerce, over 70 people have died in Cambodia since June as a result of poisoning from traditional and rice and herbal wine. Police say in some cases, home distillers have been adding methanol to increase profits. Johnny McCune, EAC News.
The country's total number of COVID-19 cases is still climbing. The Health Ministry reported 491 new cases on Friday. That's the highest that number has been since the 22nd of August. It's also now the second week where new cases have been outpacing recoveries, with 397 patients having been discharged overnight. 9 new deaths have been confirmed. It means the country's number of active cases has climbed again to 2,576. The latest numbers take Cambodia's total COVID-19 case tally to 94,417. The death toll stands at 1,937. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached the kingdom is just short of 90,000. Phnom Penh schools have been ordered to start cleaning up and getting ready for the return of students. Governor Khuong Sreng says schools in all 14 of the capital's districts must prepare for a reopening, although no date has yet been set. The governor's instruction comes a day after the Education Ministry asked provincial administrations to report back within the next 2 weeks about which schools are in areas with low COVID-19 transmission rates and are able to reopen. Those schools which have been used as vaccination sites or quarantine centers must also be cleared out, disinfected, and cleaned. Decisions will be announced later this month about which schools can reopen and when. But it is all good news for the capital particularly, which has been living under some form of preventative or administrative measure since early March. Khuong Sreng says COVID-19 infections have dropped sharply in the capital in recent days. He's been reported as saying this is a good sign that things could soon be back to normal. The capital's current ban on alcohol sales, gatherings of more than 15 people, and suspension of high-risk businesses are due to expire next Thursday. Cambodia's August traffic accident report has been released. 199 accidents were reported on the country's roads last month. That's 41 accidents down when compared to the 241 crashes in July. But 16 more people were killed. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the details.
Minister of Interior Saw Ken says the rise in the number of fatal accidents is related to Sank-Baltek holiday, which led to 15 deaths and 32 traffic-related injuries. Sank-Baltek is known in English as the Hungry Ghost Festival, with families traveling to other provinces to spend time with their relatives to honor their ancestors. With Pichinban approaching, the minister has urged drivers to be more cautious on the road and has reminded officials to keep enforcing the law. Traffic safety remains a chief priority for Cambodian law enforcement, and major changes are coming to the way traffic violators are managed. By this time next year, the accident stats should have improved. The kingdom's new demerit system will be in effect by early next year, and it's currently in its trial phase. It will see drivers being issued with 12 points, with points being deducted for each traffic offense. When there's no points left, the driver will have to wait 6 months to get back and retake their driving test if they want to get back on the road. Yuri Matosko, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
Those controversial Vietnamese Nam Vang noodles are no longer on the shelves in the United States. The Ministry of Commerce has confirmed that the Cambodian embassy in Washington has contacted the distributor who has agreed to take the product off the market. Nam Vang is Vietnamese for Phnom Penh. To make matters worse, the noodles' packaging bears an image of Angkor Wat. And while they're no longer commercially available, the search for their manufacturer continues. EAC News reporter Reo Soko dishes up the details.
It all started with a photo posted on social media. A picture of the Nam Vang noodle product being sold in the US, proudly displaying Angkor Wat and the name Phnom Penh in Vietnamese. Only trouble is the noodles are not made in Cambodia. The Cambodian government says it has no record at all providing authorization for the brand. Ministry of Commerce spokesperson Siang Thai says they've managed to identify the distributor, but the hunt for whoever actually made them goes on. Based on the name Nam Vang, it is presumed that manufacturer is in Vietnam, but the current COVID-19 situation is hampering the investigation. The ministry has reiterated that the use of the brand name Phnom Penh and the image of Angkor Wat without the permission of Cambodian authorities is a violation of Cambodian law, international agreements, and treaties. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
Well, now for a look at news making headlines around the world this Friday, the 3rd of September.
New York under a state of emergency because of the weather. Hundreds of motorists left stranded in their vehicles in Yonkers after getting caught in flash floods that pummeled parts of New Jersey and New York thanks to the remnants of Hurricane Ida. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio declared an historic weather event, with record-breaking rain across the city leading to flooding and dangerous conditions. The Big Apple's famous subway stations were all submerged, with services completely suspended late on Wednesday, local time. A flash flood warning was issued for most of the city. The situation is slowly returning to normal, with flights resuming out of New York and New Jersey, but climate experts warn that big cities around the world are going to have to get used to scenes like this.
Police in the North Carolina district of Winston-Salem have confirmed a tragic shooting incident at Mount Tabor High School. The victim was identified as William Chavis Raynard Miller Jr. He was brought to Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist Hospital but died of his injuries. The Forsyth County Sheriff's Office reported that a suspect has been taken into custody. It was North Carolina's second school shooting this week. On Monday, authorities said several students exchanged gunfire at New Hanover High School in Wilmington. A 15-year-old was shot and wounded. He remains in stable condition. Authorities have arrested and charged a teenager with attempted first-degree murder and assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill. The local sheriff says behavior like this cannot be tolerated in America's school system.
And a semi-submersible vehicle has been intercepted by Colombian Marines. People manning the boat threw themselves into the water and fled into a mangrove forest, abandoning their 17-meter vessel and its cargo. 90 sacks containing 1,800 packages of pure cocaine were found. The operation effectively prevented the trafficking of more than 40 million hits of cocaine to the neighboring countries. The drugs have a street value of $60 million. In just the past month, the Colombian Navy has intercepted more than $200 million worth of cocaine belonging to a dissident group that was formerly part of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia.
Stay with the Daily Roundup. After the break, a look at the day's sports news. EAC News fully supports the royal government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC Cambodia's audience is growing. Our YouTube channel now has 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube, given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates eArts Cambodia's hard work and incredible achievement. She says not only has eArts Cambodia brought a unique voice and style to the world, but has also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to www.youtube.com/eArtsCambodia. Subscribers get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. We'll see you there. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of eArts Cambodia's platforms and channels: YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eartscambodia.com. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear. He might not have scored, but Lionel Messi will be pleased that Argentina extended their unbeaten run on Thursday night to 21 games. They notched up a comfortable 3-1 win over Venezuela in their World Cup qualifier in Caracas. Elsewhere on Thursday night, Brazil beat Chile 1-0, Australia thumped China 3-0, and the Netherlands were held to a 1-1 draw by Norway. But it was the Hungary-England clash that has got everyone talking. It was an easy 4-0 win for England, and while Hungary will be poring over the match for ways to improve, they're also under a FIFA investigation. Their fans racially abused 2 of England's black players. British broadcaster ITV says racist monkey noises were aimed at Raheem Sterling and Jude Bellingham from just behind the goalposts. Hungary is already facing 2 games behind closed doors in UEFA competition after similar incidents at their national stadium during Euro 2020. England didn't rise to the bait, though, and stayed focused to net 4 goals, leaving them comfortably on top of their qualifying group. The 2020 Paralympic Games come to an end in Tokyo on Sunday, and everyone agrees, pandemic or not, they've been a triumph for people with disabilities. Dozens of world records have been broken this week, even amidst torrential rain. The weather forecast looks set to improve, though, raising hopes of a splendid send-off in Sunday night's closing ceremony. For the athletes, though, they won't want these games to end. US and Thai athletes have had an amazing 24 hours, although Greek runner Athanasios Gavalas arguably stole the show late on Thursday, setting a new world record. In the men's T11 100 meters, where visually impaired sprinters run with a guide, the 21-year-old put in a supreme showing. The pair were in perfect sync and set a new world record of 10.82 seconds. In the women's T12 100 meter, Cuba's Amara Durand Ilias dominated the race to win her 7th Paralympic gold medal. The rain fell heavily as competitors prepared for the women's T53 400 meters, but that wasn't going to stop Switzerland's Catherine de Brunner. Switzerland celebrated again when the experienced Manuela Shire held off a challenge from US athlete Sherry Madsden in the women's T54 final. In the men's T53 800 meters, Thailand's young star Payo Pangsakorn once again took on and defeated legendary Canadian Brent Lakatos. They may have come last in their heat, but Cape Verde's Quella Nedrea Pereira Semedo and her guide finished first when it came to making headlines at the 2020 Paralympics on Thursday. It was one of the heats in the women's T11 200 meters. The visually impaired runners are helped down the track with a guide. Pereira Semedo can be seen here coming in a distant 4th with a time of 33.04 seconds. But the seconds immediately following the race are ones she will never forget. Her guide, Manuel Vaz de Vega, dropped down on one knee and popped the question. It took spectators a few seconds to realize what was happening, But it seems Pereira Semedo's competitors knew it was coming. A wedding date has yet to be set. All right, let's take a look at how the weather's shaping up for tomorrow. And finally, Scotland's independent whisky maker Gordon and MacPhail has unveiled what is believed to be the world's oldest single malt Scotch whisky ever to be bottled. It's an 80-year-old Scotch and will go on auction at Sotheby's in November. The 700-milliliter bottle of Generation's 80-year-old has been unveiled in London by the designer of its crystal decanter, architect Sir David Ajayi. This bottle is one of only 250 to be produced from a single cask at Scotland's Glenlivet distillery. It is also the only one to be auctioned. The remaining 249 bottles will be available to buy directly. The price tag has yet to be revealed, but Ajayi says it'll be worth every cent.
I took that as an opportunity to really think about the unique milestone that Gordon MacPhail had achieved by actually even producing whiskey that was drinkable after 80 years. It's beyond drinkable, it's sublime. And thought about it as a kind of a piece of architecture. It really, in a way, for me, it's an architecture in the miniature.
The price it's likely to fetch on auction, though, won't be miniature. Decanter number 1, as it's known, will have an estimate of between $110,000 and $220,000. Assuming it goes for top dollar, that'll mean it'll be worth $7,850 a tot. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EARTS Cambodia channel. More breaking news and updates from our website, head to www.e-artscambodia.com. You can also search for EAC News on Telegram and at your favorite app store. More from the EAC News team in the weekly Roundup tomorrow night at 8. I will see you then.